Good evening, everyone. It is 6:06. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We'll start off with roll call.
Anthony LJISD present.
Esmeralda Solis present.
Nereida Cantu present. Mary Hernandez present.
Roberto Zamora present.
And Alex Cantu present. I do declare a quorum. Moving on to item number 3, Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, members of the board, as we prepare, let me introduce to you Serenity Lynn Lerma, is a 5th grade student at Evangelina Garza Elementary. She was selected to represent our school at the Student for District Roundtable. She is a straight A student who is very, very dedicated to her studies. Outside of school, she participates in softball traveling team and being a part of extracurricular activities, keeping Serenity focused and driven to excel in her academics and sports. With you, we have Serenity Lynn Lerma.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, tonight we express our gratitude for the gifts of another day, surrounded by the presence of our cherished ones here at LJISD. We humbly seek your love, wisdom, and shelter in all our actions. We strongly request your watchful care over all students, parents, teachers, and community members, knowing that their well-being is of utmost importance. Help guide our school board members as they make decisions that will affect us today and in the years to come. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Wow.
I'd like to recognize her parents tonight. We have Monica Marines. Thank you so much. The principal is Roxana Peña, Garza Elementary.
Could we, as a board, stand up with her and take a picture here in the middle, please?
Can we take a picture? And if the mom wants to come as well, you may. Okay. Yes. Are you doing one with the mom? Yes. Right here in the middle. Right in the middle.
Moving on to item number 5, public comments. We have none. So then we move on to superintendent's report, item number 6. First item is enrollment report, 24th day of school, September 15th.
Mr. President, members of the board, before we come with the enrollment report, I'd like to congratulate our staff, not only student services staff, but also our curriculum instruction staff, our principals. Over the last several Saturdays have come together. The first to do a leaver attendance door-to-door campaign. The second was to then study what one of our neighboring districts was actually doing to reach those students that were not coming and showing up to school. And we prepared just a brief video presentation of how our staff has come together to involve students with student leadership, involve parents, and ultimately how we are working to reach our children, those especially that are not showing up to school. Without further ado, I'd like to just share a few video notes for the board before Mr. Munoz would come and share the enrollment reports. So this is just some pictures of the administration coming and meeting here at central office and dedicating an entire Saturday to going door to door, identifying students that had not come to school. Our social scientists bring about and say that our children, even at school, will raise their hands saying that they need help, that there's issues at home, that sometimes that school is the only place where they can get a warm meal, where they can get guidance from their counselor or support and encouragement from their coach or their teachers, and have role modeling from our principals. And we've learned that even those students that show up may be coming from single parent homes. And we should always remember that about 48% of our children come from single parent homes, already showing up with challenges and constituting many of our children as at risk. Certainly, just taking note that we are among the lowest social economic status districts in the entire state of Texas. And when they don't show up, we automatically assume there are real concerns. And what you see here is our staff coming together, coordinating visits, taking a look at the data, taking a look at attendance reports, and us going door to door, asking parents, where are the children? Have they shown up to school? What do we need to do? How can we help you? And we bring an array of social services with us, and reminding parents that at La Jolla ISD, we're student-focused, data-driven, and results-oriented. That at La Jolla ISD, we will prepare our children for college, workforce, and life. So we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk, and we make it known that in this district, you are welcome. This is your home. This is where you're invited to come and learn. And we remind parents that when Justice of the Peace, sends a letter that your son didn't show up, we need you at court, we intervene. We show up and say, hey, we can make this go away if we can just know where your child is. And sometimes, like in our case this last Saturday, the student was not at home. The student was living with an uncle or aunt due to economic needs, and we found out where the student was. And it just takes that extra effort, and at La Jolla ISD, we believe that our children are worth our efforts. So I wanted to congratulate our staff and share those notes with the board tonight.
So good evening, Mr. Board President, Mr. Cantu, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Beto Gonzalez, ladies and gentlemen of the board and community. This afternoon, we're going to be sharing the enrollment report as of September 15th, 2023. So in our elementaries, we currently have 11,243 students. In our secondary schools, we have 12,759. So in comparison to last year at this time of the year, we have 717 fewer students. So some district initiatives, as you saw in the video, this past Saturday, our Student Services Department, along with district and campus staff, came together to hold the Operation School Matters Community Walk to go out and look for our leavers. And again, the purpose was to reconnect with our students and to bridge their return back to our schools. And in the upcoming weeks, the Student Services Department, along with campus staff, will continue neighborhood recruitment efforts. When it comes to the attendance report as of September 15th, at the elementary, our goal is 97.5%. We are currently at 95%. Middle schools, the goal is 97.5%. The current attendance rate is 94%. High schools is 95%. The current attendance rate is 89%. At our specialty schools, the goal is 98%. We are currently at 95%. In the alternative education programs, the goal is 90%. We're at 74%. And for our district ADA, the goal is 95%. We are currently at 93%. District initiatives to improve attendance. Our superintendent of schools has made it a point of emphasis for us to increase our student attendance. We recognize and value the importance of our students being in our classrooms. So the Student Services Department, along with campus administration, they are currently offering weekly incentives to encourage our students to come to school. An example of one of the incentives that they're doing, you'll see it there on your screen. But again, in addition to the incentives, they are providing wraparound supports to the students that have shown to have an inclination to be absent, right? Those truancy students. So our counseling department, our campus administration, our social workers, our parent liaisons are all coming together to make sure that we provide those wraparound supports to our students.
I would just like to add, and I'm looking at these numbers because we've looked at Benavides and Leo Elementary, and just so the community is aware, we had set a target goal for student enrollment of 400 in these campuses, and just so that the community know where we're at, in 2023, Benavides Elementary was at 288. This year, we're at 260, which is 28 students less from last year. And Leo Elementary last year was at 371. Right now, currently, we're at 348, which is 23 kids less. So if anything we can do on our end, and of course our administration to help out these campuses, maybe it's target these areas or whatever we can do on our end to help them increase these numbers, let us know, and maybe we can work together so that we can support them. Because, yeah, Benavides is 28 students less and 23 in Leo. And with that being said, I also urge the parents to please help us out with student enrollment in these campuses. I know that we had a lot of parents last year come to board meetings and express their concerns. Well, it's a little concerning right now. So we need to turn up the panic button a little more and make sure that we get to the numbers that we had agreed that would be a good number for our schools to continue.
Yes, sir. Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz.
I have a quick note before we head on to recognition for Telma Salinas Jimmy Carter Early College High School and Telma Salinas STEM. Fantastic news to report to the board tonight. As such, last night we had an incredible competitive volleyball game at Palmview. Two undefeated towers came together to fight, and our Palmview students came out on top. We're very excited to report that this Saturday they're going to also face another undefeated team this Saturday. So let's support them as they go play against Roma. And so we're excited to know that some of our teams are excelling at that level. If they beat Roma, then of course they'll be the favorite and number one in the district. Next, Mr. President, members of the board, in recognition of Jimmy Carter Early College High School and Telma Salinas STEM Early College High School for being ranked as the top high schools in Texas through U.S. News and Daily Report.
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Cantu, members of the board, our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Gonzalez, administration, and the community. This evening, I would like us to take a moment to recognize two exceptional campus leaders who have elevated Jimmy Carter Early College High School and Telma Salinas STEM Early College High School to distinction as top high schools in both Texas and the entire nation, as acknowledged by U.S. News and World Report. Jimmy Carter Early College High School has achieved a remarkable national ranking of 906 out of 17,680 schools and stands as the 112th best school in Texas out of 1,532, truly exemplifying excellence in education. Similarly, Telma Salinas STEM Early College High School has secured a distinguished national ranking of 913 out of 17,680 schools and holds the 114th position among Texas schools out of also 1,532, solidifying its status as an outstanding educational institution. At this time, I invite you all to join me in presenting these accomplished leaders with certificates of recognition, acknowledging their outstanding efforts in guiding their respective campuses to shine prominently in our region, state, and across the nation. Please help me welcome, and at this time, if y'all can
I
come
will
up.
ask the officers to step forward for the recognition pictures, please. Yes. I think we could have all of our board members, we can have all the board members step up, please. That'd be fine.
Mrs. Claudia Gomez Perez leading Jimmy Carter Early College High School. Come on up. And her team.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Maybe we can have more members. Okay, great. And that way we're all, right? Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, just.
And now Mr. Victor Rodriguez leading Thelma Salinas STEM Early College High School.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That concludes our superintendent's report.
Yes.
Before we move on, I'd just like to make a correction on instruction and student services, item number 2. It's approval of submission of the 2024-25 Principals Residency Cycle 7 Grant Program. Just it's 24-25 school year, not 23 to 26.
Correct.
Okay, with that being said, there's no discussion items. Under 7, we move on to item number 8, consent agenda. We have none as per board request.
Well, I think Dr. Zamora wanted a brief report on 1, 2.
Yeah, that's what he's, I think that's
No,
what
I'm
he's
sorry.
saying.
I'm so sorry.
We're not gonna have anything in the consent because item 1 under contract and item 2 have been pulled out, and item number 1 out of instruction and student services also has been pulled out. So with that being said, I don't need a motion for that. Now going into item number 9, contracts. We start out with approval of memorandum of understanding between La Jolla ISD and South Texas College Continuing Education and Institute for Advanced Manufacturing. I need a motion to.
We'll move.
I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
A second by Mr. LJISD. I open it up for discussion.
Just a brief synopsis or explanation.
Of course. Good afternoon, members of the board, community members, Mr. President. Yes, with our item number 1 on the contract for South Texas College, we work with them, and what this is a an MOU where our TEKs align with a lot of their curriculum for workforce readiness. So our teachers get hired through STC, and they provide some of these lessons for our kids that are tailored by STC standards. Once the kids finish that curriculum, they receive a certificate for workforce readiness, like, for example, a receptionist certificate for our kids. They also receive a transcript from STC, from the continuing ed department, for a satisfactory of completion or unsatisfactory. We've always been very successful. We've always received satisfactory grades, right? So thanks for that relationship there. But our students will receive basically credit on their continuing ed transcript as well. There is no cost to our district in terms of this particular program. STC covers the cost, and they hire the teachers, and they provide a compensation to them, but it's not through our district, so it doesn't cost us anything. Our students, like I said, do benefit from a certificate and continuing ed hours.
Yep.
Great. Any questions?
Just a comment on, it does says here or require that you have 5 students participating. Is that per class?
Correct. Correct. So when the teacher gets hired through SEC, they have a quota to meet in terms of numbers for the students, and normally that they require those 5. Now, that's never been a problem for us. We've always been able to have way more than what they required. But yes, normally they'll have a quota as far as how many kids have to be in that particular course.
Thank you.
And this is it's one of our local courses. The curriculum is embedded, SEC's curriculum is embedded into our courses as well. So in other words, it's our own engineering program, manufacturing program, but they're working in tandem with STC, and that curriculum is embedded within both courses. And then at that point, the students get an additional certificate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item number 2, approval of a memorandum of agreement between La Jolla Independent School District and the Rio Grande Valley Linking Economic and Academic Development RGV lead for the 2023-2024 school year. I need a motion to approve. I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Dr. Cantu. I open it up to any discussions. Just a brief.
Of course. This is another organization that we work with. Our students basically work with this company or with RGV Lead, and they provide services to us in terms of professional development. They also link the industry partners to our students and create student ambassadors and mentorship programs as well. They help us in that area, in that respect. We also, when our students meet certain criteria in our courses, and our coursework in the classroom, and then they graduate, they also qualify or receive an RGV Lead Court, and we've seen them in the graduations. When they graduate, they have the RGV Lead Court. That means the student has had an endorsement in it with a CTE option, they've gotten a certification, and or they've also received dual credit through STC. And so this company has worked with us in that respect. They also provide a lot of labor market information that this year we need to go back to our Perkins 5 application and do the comprehensive local needs assessment, and that information is crucial for that particular application for Perkins as well. So they help us align what is out there in the real world right now, what the occupations that are in demand, and they help us align our program to those occupations. A little bit of Perkins 5, that's one of the things that's looking for, that what we offer in our school districts is aligned to what the labor market or the labor market is looking for. It makes no sense to provide a particular occupation when there's no demand for it. And so they help us align our programs in accordance to our Perkins 5 as well.
I saw where their fees are $2 per student in grades 9 through 12.
Correct.
So does that include all students or just those in CTE courses?
They've actually looked at the entire group of kids, and so as far as they don't only look at the CTE kids, I'm not familiar. I believe they don't. It's a whole, and so the $15,000 would actually look at, because it's a comprehensive. I believe they don't look only at the CTE. I think they look at. However, in our district, we service about 97% of the kids are in a CTE course. So most of our high schools, 97% of our kids have a CTE course of some sort. So we are very embedded into our high schools.
Yeah, the total cost is about $2 per student, but that will be for all students. The other one is just a comment, because I think we have really good partnerships with UTRGV, with STC, with workforce development and others. And so as I was reading through it on page 20, it does point out that the services rendered by the providing agency under this agreement are vital, and that those services are not, that the district is not able to provide those services. And I just think that the district does provide for a lot of partnerships, but I think you've clarified one point, and that is that they are providing workforce type of availability, so that goes beyond then what we as a district may be doing with the partnerships. I'm not sure, you might want to clarify that, Mr. Gonzalez.
Right, it does. We offer a plethora, right, of CTE opportunities and workforce development. Wherever this is coming to fill a gap.
Right.
We can't be all inclusive. I sometimes say that we're an educational K-12 institution. We're not a clinic. We're not a college or workforce, but we try to be. We provide, services that are usually student-based and student developmental services. And yeah, this is just a gap filling.
Yeah, and so I just didn't want to shortchange our staff, who I know do an excellent work in partnering with external entities.
Yes.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no more questions. I have a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item number 3, approval of contract between Hidalgo County Elections Administrator Hilda Salinas on behalf of Hidalgo County and the La Jolla ISD for the special election to be held on November 7th, 2023. I need a motion to approve. I have a motion by Mr. Oreste. I have a second by Ms. Solis. All those in favor
I'll
signify.
just make a comment before the vote, and that is, you heard me in a previous meeting, my concern related to no voting sites in Peñitas. My vote will be cast on that basis.
Right, let me clarify that, Mr. President, members of the board, members of the community. We are working closely with all of our 4 communities that feed into our school district. They're all our children. Sometimes there are situations like for this case, this is a public election, right, for our TRE this upcoming November. There was a situation between the city of Peñitas and the county regarding safety. Nothing to do with our school or any prejudicial movement, and that is the only reason why we didn't have a polling site there. However, it is in progress, and I will be personally meeting with the mayor of Peñitas and the council this upcoming meeting to present those initiatives that we're doing already together to service our kids, and also wherever we can work together. So it was noted last meeting, and your superintendent will be meeting with the mayor and so forth to get those things corrected.
Okay, the other points have to do, if you turn to page 42, because I've been looking at the costs. So in terms of, when we look at the first part under coding services, in terms of the machines that will be available per site and how many we are being charged for, I would ask that those be reviewed, because they're looking at having 32 machines when we have 4 per
Right.
site,
Right.
which is half. So I don't know if it is 32 because it's 16 for the early voting and then another 16 for the regular day, or
Yes.
how they arrived at that number.
Thank you, Dr. Zamora. I wish you would have called me about a week ago on this. I will tell you that what we did, and please, every board member is encouraged to, so we don't, waste time during a board meeting on issues like this that are trivial. So that this is a blanket contract, and so they just go with the maximum. Let's say the total cost is $100 and something thousand. Generally speaking, and our trend is correct on this, the cost of an election list would be about $50,000 or $60,000, less than half. But the county protects itself with a blanket contract, and yes, our CFO was on top of it. And we know that the cost of this will be between maybe about a third to half of the cost that the blanket contract covers.
And regardless of what the county and the city of Peñitas safety is going on, I did recommend that we open up the way we used to before, our schools, because I feel that it brings more sites to our district. Not only that, I think it was very effective, and we don't run, especially when we're holding school elections or TRE elections. I think the taxpayers deserve to have them in the schools the way they used to before, and it's more accessible, and it had always been done like that. So make sure that we look at 4 or 5 elementaries for any elections from here on out, so that we can facilitate for parents and have access, regardless of what happens with cities and counties. We have school elections, and we need to make sure that we get everybody to represent and go out and vote. So with that being said, I had a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
I have a nay by Ms. Hernandez and Dr. Zamora. Motion passes. Under letter B, bids, there is no item. Under letter C, business and finance, item number 1, approval of application for payment of architectural fees, number 1, for the La Jolla ISD roof renovations and Richards Middle School. School board approved on March 23rd, 2023. I need a motion. I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Hernandez. Any questions?
Mr. President, members of the board, our superintendent of schools, Mr. Gonzalez. So this is just, I bring this item before you, just the approval of the application for payment of architectural fees. So we're moving forward. This is just the process.
This was a long overdue project.
Yes.
Well, I have a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, approval of application for payment for architectural fees. Number 1, for the La Jolla ISD roof renovations. Henry B. Gonzalez Elementary School, board approved on June 21st, 2023. I need a motion to approve. I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
I have a second by Dr. Cantu. Any questions?
Just a comment again. I guess it would apply to both items, and that is that they have a 6%, and right now the payment is based on an estimated cost.
Yes, sir.
If those costs should change,
We'll
let's
come
say
back.
for the, hopefully downward,
Yeah.
that amount would also be decreased. That's
Yeah.
adjustable.
Yes, sir. And if you recall, when we went ahead and did the bid for Ann Richards, we were coming below bid. The estimate was a little higher when the conversation happened, but now we're seeing that this is just the first payment of that 6% for that project.
Any other questions?
Have we heard anything from the insurance on the claim that we've had?
Yes, the next item, we're going to
Okay.
talk, yeah. Thank you for that.
I have a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item number 3, discussion and possible action on authority to negotiate contract with contractor offering the best value to the school district based on the published criteria and ranking evaluation of competitive seal proposals for La Joya ISD Henry B. Gonzalez Elementary School roof renovations. I need a motion. I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I'll take Mr. Dixie's second. Any questions?
Yeah, we used to get contracts that we would have an opportunity to review. We don't have those anymore. I'm just wondering why.
No, because right now, Dr. Zamora, we're bringing you, if you see the second attachment, we're bringing you the bids and proposals that were reviewed, and we're just bringing the ranking to you. So right now, we're not bringing a contract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you see there, this, we're going with highest ranked bidder, lowest bid is SLR Building Contractors of Edinburgh, Texas, for the amount of $1.2 million, $225,000 for this particular project. After reviewing the contract, I know it is about 120 days that they have to finish the project. Remember, they're doing the roof and the inside, the interior. The beauty of it is because we don't have children right there, I'm thinking that they're going to be able to finish a little bit sooner than that. So I'm hopeful that's conversations we'll have with the contractor to ensure that there's no one there, so might as well just come in and work their hours and get it done as fast as they can with good quality work.
So what's the time span on the contract?
Excuse me?
What's the time span on the contract?
Legal, if you can help me with time span on a
Or
contract?
not yet?
I don't have that contract in front of me. The time span to get the contract?
Yeah,
Well,
we're really going to expedite the
working on a
contract with.
faster process to bring you the contract, but it's a matter of just the time period that the administration gets with the vendor to generate the contract.
Are we
Our
with it?
addendum is always ready.
Yes.
And our addendum is sufficient to get the project going.
Okay.
It's the contract that, the other contract documents that take time.
One of the concerns parents have had is the timeline, and 120 days is pretty quick. If we could do it faster, of course, that would be faster. With that being said, I'd like if we could have the contract by the next board meeting to approve so they can start already as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
I know that you all have been moving quick. I appreciate you all for that. So if we could get it in by the next one, that would be amazing. That way we take advantage of
And one of the reasons we took also advantage of this meeting was because we knew that the deadline for the next board meeting was the 27th.
Yeah.
So that's why we brought this
Perfect.
one first to acknowledge the amounts and be transparent with you and the community as to what the bid process was, and that's what we're awarding, with your consent tonight, SLR Building Contractors.
no pressure, but
Okay.
Yes.
the faster the better.
Sooner the better.
Hopefully we can move in before Christmas.
And to answer your question,
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez, because I know you had a concern about the insurance, once we do this, it goes with the negotiation, but that money and terms have already been discussed, so we move forward with that. They're
So-
complying to.
So they haven't given us an amount.
Yes. You have-
Because it's and I can bring it at the next board meeting, it's a full amount because they came and visited all 40 plus buildings. It wasn't specific. And then, of course, those that do match, because it is 100,000 per building on the deductible when it's a hail or windstorm. So
Oh, it's per building.
per
It's
building.
not,
No. So, but we can share that information at a workshop with you all.
okay, thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I have a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Under letter D, Instruction and Student Services, approval to accept the budget award for the Region 1 for gaining early awareness and readiness Gear Up Pathways to the Future grant. I need a motion. I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
I have a second by Dr. Cantu. Any questions?
Can we have a brief
Just a
presentation
little
on
brief,
it?
Yeah. Mr. President, members of the board, we have Ms. Veronica Chavez. going to come and present.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, members of the board, and Mr. Gonzalez. I can share a bit of information regarding this request for approval. This is for the Pathways to the Future grant. It's one of our Gear Up grants. We have actually 3 Gear Up grants in our district. This is just to approve the funding for Palmview High School. At the next board meeting, you'll receive one for one of our other grants, and you'll also receive part 2 of this particular grant, which will be an additional $93,589 for the other group of the cohort that came to La Jolla High. So the Pathways to the Future grant is servicing 9th grade students. We have 360 students at Palmview High School, about 140 at La Jolla High School. This is their 3rd year in this grant. The students are in 9th grade, and this grant will follow them up until their 1st year in college. And so this, you'll have half of the budget, the $93,000 goes to La Jolla High. You'll see that next week. The $187 is just for Palmview High School.
$93,000 of which, of this 187?
The 93 you're going to see next week as another board agenda item.
Okay, that's a separate one. On this one, we
Yes.
have 187,000, correct?
So these students started off in middle school, and they were at Garcia Middle School, Chavez, and Memorial. And when they went to high school, they split. Some of them came to La Jolla High School, some of them went to Palmview. And in an effort to continue to service them and not lose our students, we divided the coordinator. So there's 1 at La Jolla High, 2 at Palmview High. And so that's why you're going to see a difference in the amount of the budget. 187 goes to Palmview High School because they're servicing 360 students. Next week, we'll request approval for the budget that's coming over towards La Jolla High. But it's the same grant, just so you know that the students are split and we're still servicing them.
So when we're looking at the facilitator salary benefits at 140,000,
Their salaries are included within this amount. And
we have how many facilitators?
There's 3. There's 2 at Palmview High School, 1 at La Jolla High. This particular budget is for the 2 that are over there at Palmview High School. Our district does an in-kind match. So if they give us 187, we're going to match it back with 187. And
That
we
was going to be
typically-
my question in terms of, so do we have $187,000
Yes,
budgeted already?
Yes, we have multiple
good.
Gear Up grants. We've never had a problem matching the numbers because our district already does a lot of things for kids. And so a lot of things count. For example, when we allow Gear Up to use our office space, let's say our teachers work on lesson planning after hours, all that goes in kind. The time that we at Central Office invest in supporting them in these college readiness and career initiatives, all is put in as in kind. And so we will match the 187 back, and we've never had a problem. Mr. Robert Cortina helps us with that.
Let me ask you just real quick. You said we have a grant from Gear Up of 187, right? So then the district matches the other 187.
Yes.
That was my question, because I was like, hey, pues if we spend 140 in salaries, well, how much really goes to the kids? You know what I mean?
Well, they pay 70% of their salary, and then our district pays 30%.
30%.
And yes, and most of the funds go to support students with college readiness and career readiness activities. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and like I said, we have other Gear Up grants. We have another cohort that's already at STC, and we're servicing them already in their 1st year of college. We have another grant where they're 12th graders, and it's a lot of money that they've given us, but we've never had a problem matching back dollar per dollar. Every single thing that they've given us, we've matched exactly back. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No? All
With
right.
that being said, I had a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Under Letter 2, approval of submission of the 2024-2025 Principal Residency Cycle 7 Grant Program. I need a motion to approve. I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
Second. Any questions? Dr. Zamora?
I'll hear,
If you have any questions regarding the grant?
just tell us a little bit about it. I have questions, but I'd rather you just tell us about it, and then maybe you'll answer the questions before I ask.
Good evening. The Principal Residency Grant, it's an initiative from TEA to create a pipeline of leaders at the campus level throughout the state to provide our districts with the leaders that the districts need to guide our schools into success. And This opportunity provides our district with the opportunity to fund up to 10 candidate residents. We're currently working on an application where, through collaboration with HR, we're going to get the input from our campuses, administrators, our campus principals, to see how many potential candidates they have, how many potential residents, and in a district this size, we have great teachers, great leaders that will probably want to step up to that task. We'll be working on creating a survey to see how many of those we'll be able to fund once we're lucky enough to be funded. This particular grant funds 75 to 75,000 per candidate. The 75,000 per candidate, which is up to $750,000 for the full grant. The funding can go towards the funding of the resident's salary. During the residency, the applicant resident is given the opportunity to experience what it is to be an actual leader, shadows the principal. It's involved in the day-to-day activities of what a leader does. And the teaching activities are reduced to a minimum. So it will take the buy-in of the leaders at the campus level, because they will have to be very creative with their scheduling if they select one person from a particular campus where if they say, well, we want this particular teacher to become a future leader for our campus or for the district, so that it doesn't become a burden for the district when it comes to scheduling. It is a wonderful opportunity for our district to offer to our candidates. We have previously offered the opportunity for our teachers to get their master's degrees, and we had close to 20 applicants that obtained their master's degrees and are now teaching dual enrollment courses. And our teachers have been asking for opportunities, and this opportunity just came up. We have not advertised it widely, but will be soon enough informing our principals of the opportunity through a survey to see how many potential residents we might have.
I believe this would be an excellent opportunity for our folks to develop leaders within our district. And I think that we have at different times talked about not only that need, but really that we want to develop leaders. I just want to call attention to making sure there's a point here that says that we need to commit to sustaining the program after this grant is gone.
Yes,
so that we just need to make those commitments. And you just mentioned 750, it could be more than that in terms of thousands. Just one more point.
Yes.
Then the other one is that the people who are going to be participating in the program, that we're going to need to give them time to develop, and that it's only that we cannot require more than 2 hours of them to be in classrooms for classroom instruction, correct? So I think that sometimes when we have partnerships of this type, if we don't provide at the district level the opportunities for the employees to really participate as designed, then we would not be as successful. So I would just encourage us to do that.
All of that is part of the application packet where TA is requesting information from us. How are you going to prepare the residents? What opportunities are you going to provide them throughout the day to get involved into these leadership opportunities? What preparation education program are you going to partner with? How are you going to sustain the program? And currently La Jolla offers a leadership program where we do prepare leaders, but we don't give them the residency experience throughout the day, but we do prepare them with opportunities after hours. It's not as comprehensive as this program would be, but we still do offer those opportunities for our leaders, for those that are taking that opportunity. And I'm making that part of our current application packet as part of the sustainability portion of that, so that makes our application a little bit stronger when it comes to the sustainability plan.
For the educator preparation program, are we working with UTRGV or who are we working with?
There's options. We have different options. I've been looking at the different applications that were submitted in prior cycles of the grant by other districts, and I've noticed that some of the stronger packets that were approved were in collaboration with preparations programs that were offered through universities programs, UT programs. So I'm looking to have hopefully soon a meeting with the UTRGV program. I already emailed with them, and we're in the work to have a Zoom meeting so that we can discuss this further. They have a Master's of Education Leadership with Principal Certification online, and the fees it's all online, and the fees are within the guidelines where we're able to cover the fees for the master's program for the residents and still have funding to cover part of the salary of the resident, to absorb part of the salary of the resident, and so it doesn't become a burden for the district throughout the year.
Does it cover the tuition and fees?
Yes.
Good.
See, we can cover the tuition and fees through the 75,000.
Well, with that being said, I had a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Under letter E, Human Resources, item number 1, request for an additional position for the Office of Administration and Finance. I need a motion to approve.
So,
I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Resti. Any questions?
I'm just going to say that, we've been looking from January this way to reducing positions, so my vote will be cast based on adding versus reducing.
It would be good to hear the administrator's recommendation before we make a
Right,
decision.
it's not creating a new necessarily, it's a reclassification. But if you want further explanation, no problem.
We have Dr. Villarreal.
Yes.
I think that's what the next item is for, no, Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, they're related, but different, so.
So this one in itself is this is what we're doing is we're actually reclassifying, Dr. Zamora, we're reclassifying the executive director position to a director for administration. So it's not like we're requesting
An additional FTE.
An additional FTE.
In essence, it'll be a savings. We're going to reduce
Correct.
that position.
So are you moving salary downwards here?
That is correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Reducing downwards, it reduces
Yes.
downward, right? Okay.
Yes, I understood
Okay,
you.
reducing salary.
Yes.
I just
So-
wanted to
Yes.
reiterate it. Okay.
Yes.
With that being said, any questions? I had a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, request for repurposing of FTE position for the Office of Administration and Finance. I need a motion to approve.
So move.
I have a motion and a second. A second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion
So
carries.
on this one, again, is it being reduced?
No, we're just repurposing.
It's the same
Not being
one.
reduced.
It
Same
goes with
position, we're just
the item
moving
before.
But it is not being reduced.
No, just
No.
repurposing.
Okay.
Right, we're using the current FTE for the purchasing buyer to the director for administration.
Same departments.
You're increasing this one.
Somewhat, yes,
Okay.
but we're using the current FTE,
Motion,
so we're repurposing.
motion passes. Item
I
number
voted no on that one then.
I have
You
one
didn't ask
no
for the nays.
by Dr. Zamora on that one. Item number 3, request of additional position for athletic department. Need a motion to approve.
I'm gonna make a motion to.
To discuss?
approve, But I don't know if y'all wanna hear my rationale behind it before.
No, but
So
we can open it up for discussion.
Oh, then I'll do a motion for
Motion
discussion,
for
and then
discussion.
if anybody wants to follow my motion after that, then.
Then I need a second to open it up.
Second.
A second by Ms. Solis. Open it up for discussion on request for additional position for the athletic department.
I just wanted to make a comment. Again, I don't know where this came from, but I was reading the rationale, and it says from kinder to 5th grade. And I've been going to the football games. I've been attending Friday nights, Thursday nights, where I've gone to football games, and I feel that there's a need and an aid to help our varsity sports. I want to see our kids competitive again in varsity sports. I want to see them competing with the large schools here in the Valley. You have it. and I really want to see our kids succeed. This is their last memory for for our seniors before they go on to the real world. I know we could go anywhere in LJISD and you'll hear a football story at any barbecue or at any restaurant or any breakfast. Even sometimes executive session, we have a football story that comes out. And I really think that ingraining athletics in our community is crucial, right? So I understand that we're in a crisis right now, but I do feel the need to help our kids, right? So I would like to make the motion of this, but not for our kinder to fifth grade. I think our kinder to fifth grade, I trust our elementary coaches. I know most of them have been there for a long time, and I started my career at LJISD as an assistant PE coach in elementary, so I know that most of our coaches in our elementaries do a lot, and they do excellent for all of our elementary. But again, I really would like to put an emphasis on this position for all our varsity sports. I know I mentioned football, but I mean, there's so many other varsity sports that we could be competitive in. We've talked about golf. I know there's been talks of bringing tennis and other sports that I think our kids could be very successful in. So when I saw it, I was excited, but then I saw the rationale and I said, well, I think the need for us is in varsity. So with that being said, if anybody wanted to follow lead, or if anybody had anything else to say about creating the position.
Well, if I may add, I do agree with you, Mr. Uresti. I do feel that we need to focus in a little bit on that and put some emphasis on that. And maybe if we could speak to our administration, our athletic director in specific, and see what his needs are, what the program needs, because I know you saw K through 5th, and not because I'm early childhood or anything, or I like the early grades, but we do have to develop our athletes as well. And so we have to build that foundation from the bottom as well. And in order to get our kids succeeding at the varsity level, they have to have that foundation as well. So maybe, while I do agree with you as well, we could get some input from the experts out there and see where it is they need the help. And of course, we're here to support wherever it is that the need is. But that we do want to see all our kids succeed in those Friday night lights, of course. So we're here to assist our athletic director and our athletic program in anything that we can. But again, I think the input we need to receive from those that are out there and tell us where it is that we need to focus on.
Well, with that being said,
we had a position last year that was addressing some of what we wanted to address here, and we cut that position. And now we're bringing the position back. Is it the same position, or what is this?
So this is the request for an assistant director for athletics and health and physical education for the lower grades, kinder through 5th grade.
We did have a position that was dealing with elementaries before, did we not?
We did used to have one, Dr. Zamora, you are correct. I know that in speaking with Mr. Garza, our athletic director, I know that this is something that has been a need, right? And both Dr. Cantu and Mr. Uresti have a good point. I know that out there in the fields, right, in the varsity level, we want to see our kids being successful as well as, at the elementary, we know that the foundational skills are very, very important, right, for them to be successful. But I know that in retrospect, in looking at the request right now, what we are requesting right now is an assistant director for athletics in K through 5th grade. The need is there for an assistant director. As you know, right, the needs of our district change every single year as we're going through as the year goes on. And this is something that has been requested, and we're bringing it up to you all as a recommendation and asking for you all's support.
Right. Now, I would like to share just notes, just parenthetically supporting what Mr. Oresti and Dr. Cantu and Dr. Zamora have just shared with us regarding just what we're dealing with today. So we invited our athletic director to our cabinet meeting today to discuss the needs across the board in athletics. So, the only thing that's constant is in any district is change, and the needs change. While we began last week with a purview and a need for elementary support, that can be accomplished, and so can the attention to our secondary varsity sports. I would like to, with the assistance of our legal counsel tonight, and I have also made a few phone calls to our board president and sharing the notes from our meeting. We are preparing an action plan for the athletic department for next week on the 27th. So our athletic department and this cabinet will present an action plan to this board regarding the needs in athletics, especially constituting the needs in the varsity sports, right now football. We're celebrating our volleyball success, and our football, Palmview is doing fantastic. A couple of our other campuses are needing more attention. Looking at the student need as the season began, we've focused on student needs and how an additional FTE in athletics may help the administration better serve both varsity and the elementary need for leadership. We also have a Title IX need, and we've had a long time goal here for female leadership. You know, we need role models, and we need our female students to see female coaches and female administrators in the athletic department to have that modeling and that intervention. If we're given this FTE, we can make adjustments with how we're working now, and please allow us to bring back an action plan to this board next week, Mr. President and members of the board. For today, if we can ask for an FTE in the athletic department, we can begin this work and bring this plan. We will ask for an FTE in athletics regardless. We need the help, we need the attention. As Mr. Uresti noted, there is a real need. And it's a K-12 need, not just an elementary need.
Right.
And if we could repurpose this request tonight, Counselor, to just asking the board to give us an FTE, we will go to work immediately tomorrow, and by next board meeting have an action plan that fully scales our intervention, our administrative attention to student needs in athletics.
Well,
Given what I've just heard, I think that it would be appropriate to table this particular item until
No, sir, that's not what the administration is asking, and you could vote it down if you'd like.
Let me speak. Bottom line is we need to invest in our athletic programs. I remember when I was a football player, we had FTEs, we had the best of the best. We paid top dollar for coaches, and I feel that bottom line, we just need to invest in our programs. We need to have the best of the best. Yes. And how do you attract that? By having good salaries when it comes to coaching staff. I would also like to see, I've shared with Coach Garza, we're talking about elementaries. I would like, since it's very hard for kids to make it out, Boys and Girls Clubs is very limited in our area, I would love to see our elementaries have competitive sports and pay coaches to coach these kids at the younger level. And I'm not only talking about sports, I'm talking about fine arts. We can have paraprofessionals doing these positions we have excellent paraprofessionals that would love to do some coaching. And I think it's time for us to stop making excuses and invest in our athletic and our kids, bottom line. So I think this is just the beginning, but there's a lot more that we need to do. And there's a lot of more investing that we need to do. We need to bring personnel. We need to make sure that these kids have the best of the best. So,
Mr. Gonzalez, I'll make the motion to create to give the FTE to the athletic department, and then pending next week's comprehensive plan, we'll
make
see
further adjustments.
Where the needs are.
We may come with more requests, Mr. Oresti, and thank you for your support.
We need to.
But our kids can't wait. We can't table the needs of our kids.
Correct.
Right? Our student athletes need help now.
Yes.
And if we need more help, by all means, let's have a plan, and let's make sure that it's a plan that we're going to follow to the T and give our students the support and the guidance that they need.
Well, I second Mr. Uresti's motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Uresti, a second by Dr. Cantu. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
I have one nay by Dr. Zamora. Motion passes. It is now 7:06. I need a motion to go into executive session under Texas Government Code 551.072, 551.074, and 551.071.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
A second by Dr. Cantu. It is, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, it is 7:06 and we're going into executive session. It is now 9:34. We're about to have executive session.
Mr. President, members of the board, with respect to Section 8 of the agenda, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I recommend a motion to proceed as discussed in executive session.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. LJISD. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
I will be voting aye on all except on 5 where I'm voting nay.
Okay, we have one nay on item number 5. 5 yes, motion passes. I do, before we close, do want to say and congratulate Mr. Gonzalez on a job well done. I know that it's not easy coming into a situation that we're faced with. You've taken a challenge that not anybody would have taken. You didn't shy away from it. You weren't afraid of it. We're here to serve the community, most important, our kids. And as our leader, we place all our faith, all our support on you. And we know that you will take us to where we need to be. And with that being said, once again, congratulations on behalf of the board. And we're looking forward to working with you as much as we need to make sure that we take this district to the next level. Any other questions, concerns? With that being said, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Solis. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. LJISD. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned at 9:36.